The lawsuits look pretty strong. CMG seems to be misrepresenting their products here, but not technically breaking the law. How do you see this playing out as far as timetable and an end result for them?
So, well, the longer it goes on, the worse it is for Chipotle, right? So if these lawsuits and the company decide, if their company's going to fight these lawsuits, they're going to lose in the court of public opinion, because when you look at the advertising message and you look at what they're saying and, you know, the quote-unquote hypocrisy of, you know, what they're saying, I just don't see how they win in the court of public opinion. Now, in the courts, you know, it's really anybody's guess as to how that goes, and I don't know what the timeline is. And, you know, does the class get bigger? Does it get smaller? I mean, there's a lot of issues around class action lawsuits that need to be addressed over time. But, you know, I personally feel that the longer that this is in the press, the worse it is for the company. And you know, they're all about attracting incremental consumers today, and I don't see how any of this could help them attract customers, and could only lead to, again, what we've talked about before, is breaking the trust of the consumer.
Yeah, for sure. So even if CMG's food isn't up to industry standards to be labeled non-GMO, isn't it better than most other fast food alternatives? Isn't this more semantics versus a real brand issue?
Well, you know, it's interesting, right? Because you know, that's a personal opinion, one, but two, their food is very good, and I love going to Chipotle. But you know, it's what they represent to the consumer. And then if you want to switch to, you know, forget about GMO versus non-GMO, you know, if you get a burrito with, you know, sour cream and cheese and guacamole, you know, you're going to eat 1,000 calories, which is twice what a Big Mac is. So, you know, it's not healthy for you. It may taste better, and you can get it made the way you want, which is all nice, right? Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, it's not good for you. You know, I mean, it still is fat. It still is fatty and bad for you as going to any other restaurant. Again, getting back to Chipotle is just another restaurant, and they've had this incredible marketing campaign and this food with integrity mantra, and they've done a great job. But, you know, I'll just go back to the anti-growth concept at the beginning. You know, the seeds are being planted for failure, frankly.
That leads right to another question, actually. So if healthy-minded consumers decide to boycott Chipotle, what other healthy concepts are in a position to benefit in your move?
Oh, my gosh. Well, there's one that we like a lot, Zoe's, which is a Mediterranean concept, which, you know, it's more about eating, you know, vegetables and proteins than it is, you know, burritos and guacamole and sour cream and whatnot. So that would be one that I would go to, but there aren't a lot there. But Zoe's
do you think people might just start eating at home more instead of going to Chipotle, or
well,
with the slowing consumer and everything?
Well, you know, that leads to a whole nother, you know, question, right? Because, you know, Hain's trading in the low 40s, and, you know, the Whole Foods is blowing up, and this move, you know, the consumer is slowing down, and there's no income growth. I mean, there's a lot of issues. You know, there's a few macro things that are working against Chipotle too, right? Yeah. So it's expensive. And why do you want to pay a premium for Chipotle if you're not getting what's advertised, right? I mean, that's you know, if you read the end of one of these lawsuits, it's like, you know, was the plaintiff injured because they're having to pay too much and they're not getting the product that they were promised in the advertising?